Hi everybody, it's Casey Williams. I think everybody appreciates the Toyota Prius's fuel economy and what it's done for the electrification of the automobile. But the styling has become a little bit of the butt of jokes. I think all that's going to change for 2023 with a freshly restyled, but still very efficient, Toyota Prius. Let's go have a look at it. In all reality, the Toyota Prius's slope-nose, high-back, hatchback shape really has become iconic. It's really the shape that most people think of as a hybrid, and probably one of those shapes that kids think of when they think of a car. So how do designers take that basic shape and turn it into something sexy? I think they've done a really good job with this car behind me. I mean, a lot of people have even compared it to some of the Lamborghinis. That might be taken a little too far, but it definitely is a pretty beautiful car at this point. I really like the front of it. I like kind of the wing design or the LED headlamps. It just looks really sleek, really nice. And the designers could have just made this really aerodynamic, kind of curvy shape, but they didn't. They just, a lot of details in it, a lot of lines, a lot of attention to it. That just makes it a really expertly executed design. From the side, you can tell it's a Prius. I mean, it's got the slope nose and the arching roof line and the high back. But there's just something that's just a little more low slung. It's a little wider, the 19-inch alloy wheels, and just a lot of the details. I love this shadow line that comes underneath the window and slopes up. I like the sill down at the bottom, how it ends here, kind of crinkles. Line here that comes up. Also like this little line here in the back that adds some tension to it. But just a lot of detail to the car. It looks really futuristic. My nephew says it looks like kind of a sci-fi car from the 1980s. I think that's probably pretty close to reality. Even how the door handles here integrates a little touchpad to open the rear door. Around back, I really like this view a lot. Again, just the wideness, the slope, the big hips. It just doesn't look like a Prius anymore, but I really like that a lot too. Power hatch. And when you come inside, this is one of the other things I think a lot of people have long appreciated about the Prius. It's a very fuel efficient car. It's also a very practical car for day-to-day use. You got plenty of space back here for luggage. The rear seats split, fold. You can take the front wheel off your bicycle, slide it in here, no problem there. And certainly enough room, enough luggage to get a couple people away for a weekend. As beautiful as I think the exterior is, I think most people are really going to like being inside the Prius as well. I had a lot of time this week, did some highway miles, spent several hours on the interstate, running 70 miles per hour plus, a lot of city time, running back and forth to work, running to the store, running my kid to piano lessons. And I just have really grown to like the interior of this car. I like, there's a lot of Priusness to it. There's screens and heads-up displays and the console and the way it's all laid out. And it does feel very futuristic, and I think that's what's really cool. But also like a lot of Apple products, there's a lot of technology, but none of it feels overwhelming. It feels very comfortable, very easy to use, and very welcoming. And it really starts, the big, giant, wide touchscreen. This is the limited edition Prius, so it's got the bigger touchscreen on it and a lot more luxury features. But I like how it all works together. Easy icons for audio, for phone, for navigation, that's all here. You can connect your devices wirelessly. You've got wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Also have a wireless charger right here in the console. You just slide your phone right in there. Very easy. Lots of storage, big cup holders. See a little more storage beneath the storage. Nice deep console here in the middle too. So very easy to use, very easy to get your stuff in here. But some of the other things I really like too. This one has the full glass roof. I like the fact it has a glass roof. I like there's covers on for both rows of seats. The thing I don't like is this one, the front does not open. It's a fixed glass panel. So it'd be nice to have an actual sunroof. This has the JBL audio system. It sounds really nice. I also like, the heated and ventilated front seats. You got heated rear seats, a heated leather wrapped steering wheel. I like all the controls, the way they're laid out. We've got adaptive cruise control. Very nice on the highway. This has the lane centering steering, has lane keep assist, blind spot warning, rear cross path detection, automatic emergency braking, pretty much all the safety gear, safe exit assist, so it keeps you from stepping into traffic. But I also just like, again, just the general layout and just the things they've done. You got dual zone automatic climate control here and a nice little pod. Easy to find it, fits into the dash, very nice. Metallic look, you got LED lighting, it's really pretty. And the last thing I really like is I like how the gauge cluster is set up here. So it's not an actual heads-up display, it doesn't project over the hood, but it kind of gives you that image. So you're looking out, and it just, again, I just think the car feels comfortable, lots of space, 4 people can fit in pretty comfortably, and you still put those back seats down and get some big gear in here too. So I think overall, it's just done a very nice job. Well, I remember the days, especially the first couple of generations of the Prius, where you felt almost unsafe driving on a freeway. You felt like it wasn't getting up to speed. It barely cruised at speed. It just felt wobbly. And that is not all the case with this one. So this is just the regular hybrid. There's also a Prime. It's a plug-in hybrid. The plug-in has 220 horsepower, do 0 to 60 in 6.6 seconds, which is pretty darn quick for a Prius. But again, you have to plug it in. And if you plug it in, you get about 40 miles range. But this one is the base Prius. But that doesn't mean it's base in terms of performance. So this has a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine connected to the batteries and the motors for the hybrid system. 52 miles per gallon in the city, 52 on the highway. Still have 194 horsepower. And if that doesn't sound like a lot to you in the modern age of, Hemi-powered muscle cars, that's 70 horsepower more than the last generation Prius. So quite a bit of power, at least compared to the Priuses. You still do 0 to 60 in 7.2 seconds. And again, this is kind of the basic powertrain in a Prius. But I really like driving it. With a Prius and with a hybrid, you still get that kind of revvy engine noise. You got a CVT. But this one just feels a lot calmer, a lot more refined, just a lot more enjoyable to drive. The steering, electric power steering, but it really works well. It's very precise. This has a 4-wheel independent suspension system. And again, kind of a lower car, a little bit wider car. It even handles a lot better than previous Priuses. You've also got drive mode selector, so you can put it in eco mode to make the throttle less sensitive to get the best fuel economy, or in the sport mode, and it'll make it a little more sensitive if you just want to enjoy driving it. But overall, I think they've done a very nice job. And to have a car that still gets 52 miles per gallon and is pretty quick, I think is a nice combination. Toyota really did need to step it up with this generation of the Prius. Again, I think everybody always appreciated the fuel economy. It was class leading. It was one of the first hybrids out on the market. And the car just really did do some awesome things in terms of changing the automotive market and the landscape. And it made cars like Tesla possible, and it made all the hybrids on the road today possible. But again, I think people just wanted something that was still a Prius, still had the quality of a Prius, still had just a little bit like a Prius, but something that was a whole lot sexier. And I think that's what they get with this car. So let's talk about price. Well, the Prius starts about $27,500. This one, all in, $38,019. And for what's really, almost a mid-sized luxury car with 52 miles per gallon, I think that's a pretty good deal. Well, next week we'll have another fun car. Until then, storm forward.